Welcome to your Taylor Council Connection. My name is Daniel Seguin, and this is a recap of the January 22nd, 2026 City Council meeting. The meeting began with a proclamation establishing February 11th as 211 Day in Taylor and sharing about the services that can be found by calling 211, including housing, childcare, food, employment support, and disaster assistance. Next was the consent agenda, non-controversial and routine items that can be voted on with a single vote. These items include the city-adopted events calendar, purchase of a budgeted cargo van for the Parks Department, financial reports, a resolution calling for the May 2nd election for the mayor, and a zoning ordinance introduced at the last meeting. The council then postponed a public hearing on a proposed historic district over downtown. The district was intended to be created after the passage of the Land Development Code in 2023. Staff will be working with concerned property owners within the proposed district to better define the rules and restrictions intended to preserve our history while ensuring they're not overly burdensome. Next, the council held a public hearing for a neighborhood plan known as Sonora Bank. It's to be located at the northwest corner of the intersection of FM 973 and Carlos Parker. This is the second stage of 7 that the development must go through to ensure the development fits within city requirements. The proposed development includes 9.5 acres to be used for commercial and office space development. Sonora Bank intends to open a branch on the property. Final consideration will come at a future meeting. The council then held a public hearing for a neighborhood plan known as Taylor Commons. It is to be located on Carlos Parker between Fire Station 2 and Mallard Lane. This is the second stage of 7 that the development must go through to ensure the development fits with city requirements. The proposed development includes 8.6 acres to also be used for commercial and office development. Final consideration will come at a future meeting. Next, the council held a public hearing for a special use permit to allow for light electronics disposal at the former Taylor Bedding Company near the intersection of 2nd and Doak Streets. The applicant seeks to offer secure destruction of electronics and information technology in the building. The permit will be considered for approval at a future meeting. The council then held a public hearing for a strength of force ordinance for the fire department. This ordinance was introduced at the last meeting, but proposed to hire 1 battalion chief. At that meeting, the council tabled the ordinance and requested that staff return with a proposal to add 3 new firefighters instead. 1 new battalion chief would cost the city approximately $180,000 per year. 3 new firefighters would cost $260,000 per year, an $80,000 difference. The ordinance will be considered for approval at a future meeting. Next, the council approved a resolution directing the Charter Review Committee to consider consistency of charter provisions with state and federal law, clarity and readability, effectiveness of the charter for governance, administration, and accountability, outdated or obsolete provisions, and opportunities to improve functionality. As reported from prior meetings, the Charter Review Committee will bring recommendations to the City Council for consideration and inclusion in the November election. The council then approved an ordinance regarding loitering and panhandling. The ordinance regulates sitting, lying down, and sleeping in public, aggressive panhandling or solicitation, and obstruction of sidewalks. The intention of the ordinance is to address ongoing concerns from businesses, residents, and visitors. The approval was delayed to allow the police chief to meet with local residents and business owners about the proposal to get feedback. The ordinance's enforcement will be primarily focused on voluntary compliance and verbal and written warnings. Citations will only be issued for noncompliance and repeat offenses. Next, the council approved a task order with HDR for $50,000 to assist the city with updating its building codes from the 2018 national standards to the 2024 national standards. This update will largely be focused on accounting for new and emerging technologies such as electric vehicles and battery electric storage to ensure proper protection and hazard mitigation for new construction and renovations. The code update will include input from stakeholders across the community. Finally, the council approved a new volunteer time off policy, allowing city staff to take up to 4 paid hours each month to volunteer in the community. This effort will allow city staff to become more involved and engaged in serving the community beyond their traditional capacity as public servants. During executive session, the council consulted with the city attorney regarding an American Legion lease agreement and the Springhaven Development Agreement. They also discussed personnel matters, including the city manager's evaluation. There was no action out of executive session. Thank you for tuning into Your Council Connection. Don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.